Yeah. So today we can cover about the practical part of log-based replication. So we have seen theoretical part yesterday about the basic introduction of replication followed by a log-based replication. So today probably we can cover practical part. As we know, log-based replication is physical replication. Here we are only copying the WAL files from master server to the slave server, and we are shipping those WAL files with help of rsync or ACP. And in the standby, we are going to apply those archives, right, with the restore command of similarly like point in time recovery, how we did. So, and this log-based replication by default, it is an asynchronous replication. We don't have any flexibility or feasibility to convert our replication from asynchronous mode to synchronous replication mode. So by default, it is asynchronous and we don't have any flexible to convert it. So in log-based replication, okay, first of all, let me take this VM. So for example, you have this virtual box, okay? Once you shut down this virtual box, you can just right click and you will get an option called clone. Okay, so you can just clone this entire virtual box. You will get one more mission and internally it will allocate separate IPs for both missions. Okay, so that you don't need to create a separate virtual box and again install Linux, Postgres, everything. So directly you can just clone it. You will get separate clone missions and you can use one mission for primary and other mission for standby. Okay, so this is the IP of one mission 1.15 and the IP of other mission is 1.24. And the host name is dbserver2.com and here dbserver01.com. So we are treating our primary mission as 1.15 and our standby is 1.24. Okay. So the first and foremost thing which we need to do is we should have a passwordless SSH connectivity between both the instances. So both the servers. Okay. So for this, what we have to do is we have a algorithm called SSH keygen. Okay. So which is a Linux utility. Okay. So to generate the keys, okay, to generate private and public keys. If you just do SSH keygen, okay, it will generate the private and public keys. You have to copy those keys to the remote machine with the help of SSH copy ID utility. Okay. Copy ID utility, you have to copy to the remote machine. So basically once you do SSH keygen, it will generate the keys like this. Okay, SSH keys. Okay, here you will get public key. So this is the main key which we have to copy to remote machine. Okay, so here if you just do ls minus la, it will copy to here and here, okay, you will get the keys once you copied. Okay, so actually let me check. I think I should have the SSH connectivity between both the machines already, but let's cross check. I will provide these steps in lab manual, how we can generate the keys and how we can copy. Okay, see, I have connected to this machine without any password. If I see config, now I have connected to 24, right? So this is how we can connect to a remote machine with Postgres. And the main important thing is we have to generate this keys, okay, this public keys with Postgres user, because whenever you copy any archives from primary to standby, okay, it has to connect with so without password, right? So that is the reason we have to generate the keys with Postgres user, and you have to copy these keys from the Postgres user. For example, when you are doing copy ID, you have to use Postgres @ 192.168.1.24. This is my IP of my standby. So you have to copy those keys with the help of SSH copy ID command. Okay, once you generate, it will ask the password of your Postgres password for your standby. You have to just give the password of that Postgres user. Okay, and from next time when you do SSH, it will know, it won't ask any passwords. Okay, similarly how I connected, you can connect without any password. So these two steps I will provide in the lab manual. Since I already have SSH connectivity both between both the nodes, I'm not going to generate the keys again. Okay, so it's very simple. Two steps. These steps will be provided in lab manual. Okay, and the next thing is this is my primary mission, right? 1.15 is my primary and 1.24 is my standard. So as discussed, for log-based replication, the main important parameters which we need to consider is archive command and archive mode. Okay, these are the two important parameters that we need to consider. So let me see if it is already in archive log mode. Yeah, it is in archive log mode. Show archive command. Okay, so this is my archives. So my database is already in archive log mode. Okay, I have these many archives. Okay, let me delete until here. I don't want these many archives. Okay, fine. So now one more important parameter which we are talking about is show archive timeout, right? So this timeout, okay, currently it is 0. So this timeout parameter, if we mention what happens, it will forcefully do a log switch, right? So probably let's go and add this parameter in our, either you can do with alter system set command, or you can directly go and edit the postgresql.conf, right? So archive timeout. So archive timeout is, I'm going to configure to 60, I mean for 1 minute. Okay. So every 1 minute, your archives will be forcefully switched and it will copy to the standby, because otherwise you have to wait for checkpoint to be occurred. Every 5 minutes it will generate. In real time it will generate fast. Anyhow, you don't need because your transactions will be happen and 16 MB will fill very fast, or checkpoint will occur after every 5 minutes, or if you enable checkpoint to be occur very speedy, it will occur, right? Here there is no much transactions. That is the reason I have just enabled for 60. Okay, so let's restart the cluster. Okay, so restart, I have mentioned start. Okay, so I have restarted. Now we can check our archive timeout is for 1 minute, because I have mentioned 60 seconds, right? So these are the three main important parameters. One is archive mode, archive command, and archive timeout. So these are the three important parameters that we need to consider at uh, at my primary side. Now next thing what we need to do, we have to set up an initial load. So we have to take the fresh backup from primary, and we have to copy it to the standby, and we have to set up the replication, right? So for this, let me check if my cluster is running in my standby. Okay, it is running. So let me stop the cluster, because I'm going to delete all the files in the data directory, and I will copy from my standby, right? So I'm going to remove everything. Okay. Now in my primary, I will take a fresh backup and I will copy to standby. So either you can go with PG based backup, or probably this time we may go with low level API backup, because we haven't tried any low level API backup so far, right? So we can just go and take the low level API backup. So for low level API backup, how we can take a backup, we have to keep our database cluster in backup mode, and we can copy all the files. Once the copy is done, we can again bring back our database mode into normal mode. Okay, we can stop the backup mode. Okay, this is how we can do, right? So probably what we can do is, let me take the other session as well. One more session. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my PG backup. Okay, select PG backup start. So this is the function where we can keep our database in the backup mode, right? So probably here we can give any name like full underscore BKP. Okay, and I'm mentioning true because it has to immediately do a switch log, right? By default, it is false. If you not mention here true, you have to wait until your checkpoint to be occurred. Then only you can copy your, you can take your backup, right? So since I want to do forcefully switch, the log switch, so I can just, okay. So before this, what we can do instead of setting the archive command to the local, so we can just go and set in the remote machine directly, right? So this we forget, right? Postgresql.conf. So archive command currently where our archives is saving in the local machine, right? But I want to copy these archives to the remote machine, right? So maybe I will take rsync command. Okay, with the help of rsync, I can copy rsync -a %p. Okay, and here I have to specify. I have to copy from the Postgres user and to which server I have to copy to my standby. The standby IP address is this. Okay.
One question. Can we do both copy to the remote server as well as to the local? Like, can we keep the existing command as is and then put another command to rsync?
No, because archive command, we have to specify only one, right? If it is two, then I think it won't work. Okay, so we cannot specify as a two. Either you have to copy to the local, and again from there you can set up a script to copy every files whenever it generate, or directly you can copy to the remote machine. So only that two ways we can. Yeah, probably this directory we have to create in the standby. Okay, let me create the directory -p permission.
Yeah, just adding to Suresh, maybe you can use NFS mount point, then it may be like common for both, right? So that is another way.
Yeah. Okay, here I have created the org directory for coming my archives from primary, right? So let me restart the cluster before we. Okay, now let's go and do forceful log switch. Okay, and we can just verify whether it is coming on archives. Okay, now I could see archive has received, right, from my primary directly. Okay, so which means our archives is working. Only thing is you have to make sure you should have the passwordless connectivity because it is directly copying your archives with Postgres user. Okay, with rsync. So it should not ask any password. So only that thing we have to make sure. Okay. And now let's go and take the fresh backup. So to take the fresh backup, we have to keep our database cluster into backup mode. Okay, because this we are taking with low-level API backup, not with PG-based backup. Even you can go and take with a PG-based backup. Since we haven't tried this low-level API backups, right? Even in our backup classes, so probably we can just try with low-level API backup. Okay? And this is a function to keep your cluster in the backup mode. And now I'm just give any name, can be full backup. And I'm making true because forcefully it has to do a switch, the checkpoint. Okay, now you have kept your database cluster in the backup mode. Okay, now we can just copy all the backups. Okay, probably from other session, we can copy all the backups. All the backup is all the directory from the PG data, right? So since this is an online backup, you can just keep your cluster in the backup mode, and this all files you can take the backup. So either you can create a separate backup folder and you can copy to that backup folder and you can do an rsync to the standby, or you can directly do from here itself, okay? Because our database cluster is in the backup mode, right? So you can just copy all your data directly with the help of rsync. So instead of I'm taking copy to the backup folder and again from backup folder doing rsync, I'm directly copying all my data directory from my primary to standby. Okay, rsync. I'm just giving star so that it will copy everything. Postgres. So before that, let me go and see is there any /t. Okay, we do have the customized table space. Then we have to copy the respective files. Okay, so if you have any customized table space, okay, you have to create the necessary directories and you have to copy these files as well to the standby. Okay, these files means this entire table space directory as well you have to copy to the standby. Okay, let's go and create the necessary directories. Okay, maybe permission, just to ch. So that I can create from my Postgres user. I have given ownership to home so that I don't have any issues. So I'm going to create TP1 and TBS2 and TBS3. Okay, after taking the backup, you have to also copy these table spaces, okay, from your primary to standby servers. Okay, this we have to make sure. Okay, so now let me go to our PG data and let's do rsync. And Postgres, what is the IP of my standby? So this is my IP of my standby. So let's just copy. To which folder you have to copy? Probably we can directly copy to our PG data. Okay, so echo $PG data. So this is the PG data path of my standby. So let's copy directly to the PG data. Okay, rsync Postgres to this directory. Let's see whether files is coming here. Yeah, files is coming. So I'm in which directory? Okay, let's go to PG data. Okay, all files is coming. Okay, we have to make sure we should create a soft link as well. Okay, like this between our from PG underscore table space, it will create a soft link, right? For any customized table space, we have to make sure it should also present. I think it will automatically do, but still we can cross check for the customized table space. Okay, and we have to copy the table space OIDs as well, right? So whatever we have in this table space location, we can copy that as well. So even we can go with the PG base backup. Okay, if you take the PG base backup with the tar command, so it will also fetch all your table spaces. Okay, you don't need to take any table space separately. Since we are taking a low level API backup, so we have to manually copy all the files. Okay, so this is just one way how we can take the low level API backup, just to show you. Okay, all the files has been copied now, and so now let's go to /home Postgres DBS1. So this is the major version of folder with a major version, and inside you will have the OID of your table space. Okay, inside OID of your table space, you have all the files, right, related to this particular table space. So let's copy this as well. Currently we are in home Postgres DBS1. So let's take the rsync command. So same we have to copy to the remote standby server table space location. Okay, so I'm just copying this. Okay, let's go and check /home Postgres DBS1. Okay, it's copied. Similarly, we can just go to DBS2. Okay, so let's copy the same DBS2 and just go and you can just check. It's copied. Similarly, we can just do for 3. Okay, so now we have all table spaces in place, right? So let's go to PG data. We have a folder called PG underscore table space, right? So you can just do ls -ltr. It's whenever you are copying, it's already we have a soft link. It has created a soft link between your PG table space to your location. Okay. So we have with this we have taken the backup. Okay. So before you take the backup, you can just verify what are the customized table space you have, and you can copy those files as well. Okay. Once you take the backup, you can just stop your database into your backup mode. So I'm just stop. Okay. So now we have ended our cluster from the backup mode. We have stopped. Okay. So here it has given the checkpoint information. Okay. And until which wall file. Okay. We have copied all the files. So now, since we already have the archives present in this cluster, okay, it is already coming from my primary, right? We already configured everything, so it's already coming here. Okay, and now what we can do, so we can just go and start our standby. Okay, so before starting the standby, we have to enable necessary parameters as well, right, in the standby cluster. So let's open our Postgres SQL.conf. So this conf file will be, copied from primary, right? So we have to just make necessary changes as well. So first let's check the port is enabled and listeners start. Okay, probably we can directly go to archive. So here we don't need our standby to be in archive log mode, right? So I'm just commenting. We need restore command. So which is important, right? So here restore command. Okay, already restore command exists. Let me see, is there any parameters? Probably in the primary, we can comment this restore underscore command. Probably this is the old parameter, which is already exist. Even we don't need archive timeout. Okay, so here the restore command, which is already pointing to our archive location, right? So home, postgres, archive. So we can directly start our cluster. Okay, so this is the important parameter. This parameter, we have to point out where archives is coming from primary. So this is the location where my so archives is coming. Okay, so this is important parameter. This we can consider, and you can also have archive cleanup command. Okay, if needed. Okay, so this parameter will make sure if any archives is not applied in the standby, it won't purge. Okay, so for now we can just enable with this pg restore command and we can start. Okay, we have added the necessary parameters as well at the slave side, right? Restore command. Okay, this is very important parameter. And before we start our cluster, okay, we have to make sure we have to create the standby signal file, right? So let's go and do touch. We are in the PG data standby dot signal. Okay, with this, what it will do, it will go your cluster in the standby mode. Okay, so that if it will accept only read-only connections basically. Okay, so I have just created the standby dot signal. Now let me start my cluster. Sorry, any questions? Yeah. Okay, it started. So let's go and check the alert log so that we will understand few things. What happens after you start your cluster. Okay. Maybe logging is not enabled. Okay, fine. So now let's go and check. Okay. So if you want to check whether this is in the recovery mode, okay. So always the standby databases will be in recovery mode, right? So you can just check PG is in recovery. Okay. If it is true, then this is the standby. Okay, this is in recovery mode. If you just check the same function in your primary, okay, it is false. Okay, now we can just verify. For example, I'm going to create a new database, create database test in my primary. Okay, so I have created new database test. Okay, it should reflect to the standby. So we can just wait for. So we had to wait for 1 minute because that wall file. Otherwise, I will just do force log switch. PG switch wall. Okay, now let's see whether it will. Yeah, now we could see test database has been automatically created in our standby. Okay, so now we don't have any tables in the test. So let's go on. For example, if I just try to create any table in the standby, let's see what happens. It's very slow, probably two virtual boxes, right? So what it is telling when I'm creating the test table. Okay, it is telling it is in read-only mode. Okay, we cannot create any tables in the standby, right? So let's go and do in the primary. Here I'm just trying to create. So I've created a table and I inserted few records. So let's see whether the table has been reached right now. So let me do log switch. Okay, now the table has been reached and let's go and test. Okay, your data has been reached. So your replication is working. Okay, this is how you can set up the log-based replication. So any confusions so far or any doubts? So it's very simple and straightforward. Only thing is we have to enable the necessary parameters, only archive parameters and restore commands. Similarly, like how we did the backups and restores, right? Same. Only thing is we have to create, instead of recovery.signal, we have to create standby.signal so that the cluster will go to the standby mode. Okay, so it won't allow any read operations and any any write operations in the standby. Okay, whatever the changes which you do, it will automatically apply in the standby. Okay, now for example, if you want to know what is the current wall file it has applied and what is the current wall file it has in the standby. Okay, for example, in my primary, I want to check what is the current wall LSN. Okay, it is 90060, right? So let me check what is the last selection of PG last wall receive. Okay, I think it will show here as empty because this is standby. Probably in the stream-based replication, it will show here like what wall what last it received, okay, and what last it applied. It will show here, okay. Probably let's go and see. I don't think it will also visible here. PG stat replication. Yeah. So basically in streaming based replication, it will also display what is the current LSN applied and what it has a right to the standby everything. Okay. In log based replication, we don't have this kind of feasibility to check with this view. Okay. With this dynamic view, we cannot check. Okay. This is how you can set up the log based replication. If you don't have any questions, probably we can just try how we can do a failover.
Yep, Suresh, I have one question. So any other logs or views that we need to check with how the status of the replication? I mean to say replication, what you have shown is running now, but how do we monitor whether it is running successfully or not?
Yeah, this is okay. So probably in log-based replication, I think only we have to monitor with views only. So like what is the current wall LSN it has reached and what is the last it has received. Probably since it is a standby mode, we cannot able to see this view. Maybe only the thing is alert log. But I don't know why alert log is not updating. Probably we have to. It's not.
Yeah, Banu, actually, yeah, Banu, just adding to this, like this log-based is very old replication method. Maybe just for your information, we are giving the demo here.
Okay.
Or just delivering, but the streaming replication, that is the real-time replication, and it is widely using in the real-time systems. Okay, so there you can see a lot of options. Okay, so the monitoring, as Suresh said, okay, so we have these queries to do, like, get the information about where we are, what is the lag, up to which wallet is applied, everything we can see. Okay, but here we can say like very less options, even from the organization. Like, I mean, org in the sense PostgreSQL org.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just yeah, basically this method is just you want to continuously keep your cluster in recovery mode and you have to apply the archives. So only that is the only thing we can just check. Otherwise, there is no specific views or any dynamic views to check replication lag in log-based replication. Okay. Now let's go and do one more test. Like for example, if you want to add any table space in the primary, customized table space, how we can do that? Okay. So for example, okay, I already have 3 table space, but still I will go and create one more table space 4. Okay, so what I will do, I will just create table space T4 location, and this is my location. Okay. Now, so for example, I want to create a table. Create table test ID int table space. I will point out this T4 table space. Okay. So this table will be stored under T4. Now let's go and see in the standby what it happens basically. Now you could see your standby cluster went down. Okay, probably I don't know why it's not logging. Whether editing is enabled or something, not sure. This we have to see because this is my primary is like old. So okay, so probably in alert log, okay, it will display your issue. Okay, actually whenever you add any table space, customized table space, it also tries to create that table space in the same, right? It will fail because that particular directory is not exist in your standby. Okay, whenever you create any directory, customized directory in your
But one quick question here. Whenever we create any table space, we used to create the same mount part across all the nodes, right? Then only we fire the command in the primary, right? Otherwise, the system will down, right?
Yes, that's why we are going to create. Yeah, that just to show that issue only, I have not created in the standby purposely. Okay, whenever you create any table space in the primary, okay, immediately you also need to create the same directory in your standby as well. Okay, otherwise it will fail. Your cluster will get down. Okay, so now if you see the cluster automatically went down, right? Because your directory is not there and it tries to create the table space. Okay, now let's start that particular cluster. Now you can just go and check. Okay, it has created automatically, right? This table space, and that table also it will automatically create. Okay, so this is one thing which we have to remember when you are not only here, even in the stream-based replication. Okay, whenever you create any customized directories, okay, in your primary, you have to create the same location in the standby. Otherwise, your cluster will go down. Okay. Yeah. So for monitoring your standby, so we don't have any separate views. We only need to check with the functions like last receive LSN and so what is the last applied in the primary. Only with that view, with that functions only we can check. But here in the standby, it is not showing it. Probably we will see. Is there any settings that we have to enable to see when was my last? Probably if we enable our standby database in arclog mode, probably it would have shown. So whenever you do this practical, right? So you also keep your standby in arclog mode, and you can just try this command. Okay, when was the last LSN received and when was the last LSN applied? Okay, so that it may display the value when what is the last received from primary and what value it has applied, vol file. Okay, so only that is the way we can able to see your replication. So our replication, okay. Otherwise, we don't have any separate tools, okay, separate views for log-based replication. That is the reason, like most of the people will not use this replication, right? This is a old replication, and we don't have feasibility to check any views. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go and do a failover. Okay. So we don't have any option to do a switchover. We only have a failover, right? So let's go and do a failover. Assume that my primary is not available. Okay, for example, I will just go and shut down my primary. Okay, my primary cluster is not available. Now, because of some hardware issue or something, I'm not able to bring back my primary. Now I want to do a failover. So how we can do a failover? So as discussed, failover can be done in 3 ways. One is a trigger file, pg promote, and one more function called pg_promote. With either this function you can do, or with the help of pgctl promote utility you can do, or trigger file. Okay, let's go and do with pgctl promote -d $pg data. Okay, so I'm just doing this with promote command. Okay, or you can directly go here. You can run select pg_promote. Yeah, so even we can do with pg_promote. Okay, now I'm doing a failover. Okay, so this will activate as a primary. The standby will activate as a primary because my primary is not available here. Okay, let's go and do that.
Before doing that, can we check what is the current role for this one? Is the standby or primary?
Yeah, we already checked the role previously, right? So let's go and this is the command to check. Previously it is true, right? Now it is false. Okay, whenever we build a cluster, we have checked this utility. That time it is shown true, which means that is in recovery mode, that is standby mode. Okay, now it is false, which means it will allow read write operations as well. For example, I will just try to create one more table here. Okay, now it activated as a read write mode, and it activated it has changed its role, okay, from standby to primary. So this is the command to check whether it's a recovery mode or not. Okay, so it has activated. And now, for example, assume that your primary is come back, okay, later point of time. Even when you start, now both will be out of sync because now this is activated as a primary, right? So again, you have to do a fresh rebuild. Here you can just rebuild as a standby, and you can set up this considered as a primary and this considered as a standby. So only that way we can do. So we don't have automatically to join as a standby. Okay, so again we have to do the whole thing what we did. We have to take the fresh backup, copy everything, and we have to set up standby.signal and start the cluster. So only that way we have, okay, in log-based replication. But in streaming-based replication, we, with the help of rep manager, we can able to join the node even if your your standby is not like out of sync. Okay, your primary is aware like how much lag it has, and how much archives it needed. Okay, it won't purge in the primary as well. So that is the advantage in streaming-based replication. With the help of replication slots, okay, we can monitor our replication very easily. Okay, so that is the reason most of the people will choose streaming replication, and not most of them, almost everyone will use the stream-based replication. So this log-based replication is, like as discussed, old-fashioned. We don't have any good monitoring views and something. Everything we have to monitor with the functions. That's it. We don't have any other option. Okay, this is how we can set up a replication. This is how we can do a failover. Okay. Probably tomorrow we can go and discuss about the streaming-based replication, followed by a practical. Okay, how we can set up the stream-based replication. And after stream-based replication, we are also going to discuss about the rep manager. Okay, So it is an open source tool where we can configure automatic failovers and even we can do switchovers as well. Okay. And if your standby is out of sync, okay, even we can able, once you do a failover, okay, again you want to join the old fail node back to as a standby with the only, not with the full backup again. So we can just rejoin again very easily with the help of PG rewind. Okay, those things and all we'll discuss in coming classes about streaming replication and rep manager, how we can configure automatic failovers and how we can do switchovers. So those all things we can do with rep manager. Okay, so this is just log-based replication, and this is old, as discussed, old method. We won't use in real time anymore. This, but maybe you may have some situation like you have to set up in lower environment just for continuously recovery. Okay, you can just go with this method. Otherwise, this is not best replication method to choose for in real time for any disaster recovery or something. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Is there any way we can find whether this application is set up by a log based or stream based? Is there any command is there?
Yeah, we have replication slots. Okay, so probably if you set up replication slots. So streaming replication will by default come with the replication slots. Okay, so you can verify whether even with the help of replication slot. Okay, so we have a view, right? PG stat replication. So whether your replication is a streaming based replication will display here. Since it is not displaying, it is by default log based replication. Okay, so select start from PG underscore stat underscore replication. Here it will come the method as a stream. Okay, when you do stream based replication. Okay, so currently we don't have a stream based replication. By default, we can assume that this is a log based replication. So yeah, as discussed, this is not a real replication what we do today. Okay, this is just even this is kind of point in time recovery or full recovery which we are doing in other server with the help of only parameters. That's it. So we can identify very easily. Okay, so with just if you run this view, you can able to identify whether it is a stream based replication or what. Okay, so tomorrow you will understand better how we can configure stream based replication and how we can see the replication lag and all with the views. Okay.
So tomorrow we have a class, Suresh, or it's on Monday?
No. Tomorrow means Monday.
Okay.
It's Monday.
This standby cannot be accessible, right? Read only mode is not will be there, right? Like activated Docker. Is there any read only mode is available in Postgres?
Yes, it is available, right? We have connected to the standby and we have read the data, right, for tables. It is read only mode and it allows the read connections. So application can connect to the standby and they can read the data. Okay, so no problem in that.
Okay.
It is like active data guard. Your standby will be read only mode and application can connect and fetch the data.
Okay.
One question. The logs that get shipped to the standby server, right? Do they get deleted once it is applied?
Yeah, for that we have to enable this archive cleanup command, right? So we have, okay, let me show that it will. So, okay, this parameter we have to enable. Yeah, archive cleanup command we have to enable. Okay, when you enable this archive cleanup command, with the help of PG archive cleanup utility, it will clean automatically. Okay, whatever the archives which it applied in the standby, it will clear up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like Oracle, can we able to convert the sample standby to the standby? Is there any option to open the read mode for anything?
No, we don't have snapshot standbys. Okay, here only thing is either it should be primary or standby mode. That's it. We don't have like snapshot standby kind of concept here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there is any lag is there, so how we can check that for which sequences it is waiting for?
Yeah, for lag, as discussed, please enable your, okay, let me do one more thing. Okay, you have to, when you do the replication, better you can enable your standby in arclog mode so that it may display. Okay, let me stop the cluster.
Fast was it?
And will it show in the alert log?
Not in alert log, with the help of functions. Yeah, even in alert log, it will show like what is the last LSN it applied everything. Okay, so but even we can verify with the functions like what is the last wall file received and these things. Okay, so for that I'm just converting my cluster into arclog mode just to see. Okay, it's already, we did failover, right? Now we don't have any luck. So probably when you do a practical, okay, what you can do before you start your standby cluster, you can also create separate archive directory for your standby, and you can start your cluster. Okay, so that you can able to see what is the last wall received and what is the last applied. Okay, similarly like archive log list, you do archive log list in Oracle, right? Similarly in both the sites, what is the last archive it applied, that information we can able to see. But the thing is you have to keep both in arclog mode. Okay, since we did failover, I cannot even we create the archives. Now we don't have flexibility. Okay, so probably I will provide the two commands how to check what is the wall LSN and how it received in lab manual. Please try to check. The only thing is you have to enable your standby in arclog mode. That's it.
Okay, so please mention in that lab and also that we can track.
Yes, yes. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, don't worry about log-based replication. This is no longer used, but the thing is we want to show how we can set up this replication. Okay, that's it. Okay, if any no other questions, probably we can connect Monday for stream-based replication. Okay, which is a real-time replication. Yeah.